Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And yes, before you tear me a new one, yes, this is Black Ops 4. I have played very briefly the 2v2 alpha of Modern Warfare. And long story short, in terms of why you're not seeing it, well, there's two reasons. Number one, I did have my Elgato turned on, but then all of a sudden it decided to take a shit and I didn't know it. So by the time I stopped playing it, which was only like 20 or 30 minutes later at the very most, I realized that there wasn't anything recorded. So that's why. And the thing is, the reason why I only played for 20 or 30 minutes is simply because, well, excuse me, is simply because I got bored. Definitely not my kind of game mode. And as time goes on, I mean, I know this is just the 2v2 mode. I know this is just an alpha compared to the beta, and I get that. But as time goes on, there's more and more about this game that I could possibly say that, well, how do I put this? It just won't be for me. And actually, I'm not the only one that has these kind of worries, and I'm happy about that, because I was like, thank God. For a while there, I thought I was crazy, because every single time it seems, the trend seems to be nowadays that every single time somebody talks shit about Modern Warfare, if there's something that they say that they don't like about Modern Warfare, it's like the entire community, or a good amount of community, just comes up and just bashes them for it. It's like, really, dude? So, because everybody's really, really hyped about the game, everybody's just so hopelessly, not just expecting, but hopelessly hoping, so to speak, for the game to be really good, and it's supposed to be the one that revives the COD franchise or whatnot. I mean, I guess it depends what kind of player you are. In my opinion, if you're a passive player, this game will definitely revive the franchise for you, especially if you are one of those people that expected a really big change in COD, even to a point to where it doesn't really fully feel like COD, and with a couple of the different implementations that they put into the game. So if that happens to be you, then yeah, this game may be something that definitely floats up your alley. But I wouldn't be too surprised if this game just didn't end up being for me. And as of right now, even with the little time I spent playing on it, in terms of the 2v2, again, which I can't make final judgment just off of one game mode, but there are a few things here in between here and there. But like I said, there's another person on Twitter that basically is a much bigger name. He's one of the best people to ever do it, and he's worried as well. So, and I basically retweeted out, and I'm like, thank you for tweeting this. I don't feel like I'm crazy. It's like, okay. So, and there's been more than one tweet that there's hinted at that as well. So it's like, okay. So after that, basically it's like, okay, Jack, I guess you do know what you're talking about, and you're not just talking out of your ass, because I don't always second guess everything that I say, but there are times to where sometimes my passion gets the best of me, and I freaking jump on it really quick sometimes. But basically, the best example of this was when I didn't like Infinite Warfare. The thing is, with this game, I mean, the thing is, it has to have some sort of rushing factor, some sort of fun factor. But that's not just the only thing I wanted to talk about in this commentary. I wanted to kind of put two in one with this commentary. So recently, I was very curious to see what game modes are going to be in this game, and in terms of confirmed game modes, according to Gfinity, there will be no free-for-all. I've seen a lot of the familiar game modes. I see a good amount of game modes, but I do not see free-for-all. Obviously, I think there's going to be hardcore versions of some of these game modes or whatnot. And I'll tell you what, if there isn't, and if they remove hardcore, oh man, a lot of players are going to be pissed the fuck off. Now, I know that free-for-all isn't necessarily the most... free-for-all isn't the most popular game mode. But let's say you're a person that's sick and tired of carrying teams, or you just want to run and gun completely on your own. You don't have to worry about your teammates giving the other guys streaks or whatnot. And if a player gets streaks, most of the time in free for all, they truly earn them. I'd say the only time they really don't earn them is if there's somebody that's AFK and they constantly keep finding them somehow, or whether it's boosting or whatnot. But boosting isn't as big of a thing as it used to be at one point. So at least with my experience. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love free-for-all. And I think a lot of people that just like to just run and gun, and or they just like the slaying aspect of the game, just really like free-for-all. I know free-for-all, again, not very popular. I remember in Infinite Warfare and in Black Ops 3 more than anything, I remember just looking at the percentage of people that play free-for-all, and basically most of the time, unless the game is at its launch week, after that it's like it's like 2 to 5% of the population play free-for-all. So there aren't that many of us. But for those of you guys who have been with me for a while, I've been playing free-for-all in pretty much a lot of Call of Duties for a while. So as long as I'm able to find games at it, I always usually end up going back to free-for-all whenever I get sick and tired of team-based game modes, which lately I have been. And we're going to see how things end up in the game. We're going to see what the pros think in time in terms of Modern Warfare. We're going to think, and how their versions of stuff's going to be implemented. And we'll see. We shall see. And I'm still hoping for the best. I hope the game is still good and balanced enough to where a person with my kind of playstyle can kind of figure out how to counter some shit. Because quite frankly, if nobody moves and you're the only one moving, a lot of the times it's very difficult to be able to counter a certain playstyle if the game itself is not built that way. So when you look at the combination of things like the map design or camouflage, I mean, even with this 2v2 modes, I like these maps with the 2v2 modes that I briefly played in, but the problem is, everybody's, it's basically like a different version of Search and Destroy, a smaller version of Search and Destroy without the bomb up until the very end, at least, until somebody gets killed to where there's a flag in the middle. But there's still a ton of people just chilling and head glitching. And with the way the game is designed, it kind of forces even the most aggressive player to slow the fuck down. And I'm not a fan of that. I mean, let's put the fact that I don't like campers aside for a minute. Let's just say that it's just not the way I enjoy playing. I mean, every single first-person shooter or game that I play in terms of first-person shooter, I like the ones that encourage you to move around, or at least leave space enough for you to move around and be successful in. That's why I don't play Rainbow Six Siege. Now, do I respect what Rainbow Six Siege has done in terms of its success? Absolutely. I think whenever a game has become successful, regardless of how that game plays, I'm very happy for its success. Now, because I'm a COD fan, I can't fully feel that way about COD. Yeah, I know that sounds like kind of like a douchey thing to say, but I'm just speaking from the heart here, guys. But with that being said, if the game ends up being successful, that's great and all for the developers and for Activision and for the fan base in general, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I will always be a part of it if the game continues to be built this way, if I think that Modern Warfare is going to go in the direction that I think it will go to. So yeah, but in other news though, with Black Ops 4, I've just fallen in love with the Cordite. I mean, all I had to do was basically take rapid fire off, and then the gun is just beautiful. I love the fact that, and it's also, I think one of the reasons why I love the gun so much, other than the fact that what I can do with it and how it really complements my playstyle very well, is the fact that the iron sights are good. At least to me, they're really good iron sights, and I like that in a gun. I usually don't prefer to use optics. I usually just find myself attached more to weapons that have iron sights if the iron sights are solid. But even though the AK's iron sights are pretty solid, for some reason that gun just feels weird to me with the iron sights on, which is why I use the ELO. But the Cordite complements my playstyle even more because it's a submachine gun, which allows me to move a little bit faster, and I can strafe a little bit faster. A submachine gun's always gonna be able to strafe a little bit faster than an AR, even with stock attached, at least with the way Black Ops 4 is built. So, I mean, time will tell. I'm going to reserve my final judgment, obviously, until when beta comes out. And if I still feel the same way about beta, I will probably skip out on Modern Warfare 4. Or should I say Modern Warfare. And I'm sorry. I'm sure maybe some of you guys might have been looking forward to that. But if I'm not enjoying the game, I'm not going to play it or post it. I'm not going to do that. Whether I was big on YouTube, on this whole YouTube thing or not. And so yeah, those are my 2 cents on all my thoughts put together with free-for-all, with all this other shit. So that's it. That's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section your opinions. For your sake, I hope you're enjoying the game. In terms of the 2v2 alpha, yeah, all it took was about 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most, and I was done. So, but yeah, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. I'll catch you guys on the next one.